The Mesopotamians lived at around 4000 BC. They established buildings called ziggurats, and each ziggurat had 7 terraces. Each terrace represented a celestial body, 5 planets, the sun, and the moon. They also used the ziggurats to map down stars, planets, and constellations.
Egyptians were around 3000 BC. They used astronomy entirely for practical purposes. Some of the buildings, such as temples and pyramids, were used to align to match with corresponding stars. Very little Egyptian astronomy has survived.
Stonehenge, it was created to alignment with some of the star, and partly the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Australia. Also to alignment with astronomical events.
The Chinese made observations of eclipses of at least the 13th century. They noted 900 solar eclipses and 600 solar eclipses that happened over the span of 2600 years.
Thales lived around 700 BC. He predicted a total solar eclipse. He applied the 18.6-year cycle of lunar eclipse to the solar eclipse.
Pythagoras produced a model of specifically circle orbits. He encountered Earth in a central fire, created Pythagorean theorem.
The Babylonians were around 500 BC. It's one of the many cultures that recorded pattern motion of the moon. They found out that each planet's synodic periods and gave a simple practical method of predicting the positions of the planets.
Aristotle lived at around 384 BC to 322 BC. He is a student of Plato and he modified the model of Exodus. He also argued that all celestial motions must be circular and claimed that the earth is a sphere.
Aristoteles applied geometry to astronomy, figured out the distance from the sun and the moon and their sizes. He also found shadows to the sun.
Eratosthenes was around 276 BC. He used geometry to calculate the size of the Earth and director of the Great Library of Athens.
Hipparchus lived at 190 BC to 120 BC. He did most of his works in the island of Rhodes. Although none of his major works survived, he did discover the star Spica in the Virgo constellation.
The Mesoamericans 380 to 980, using Mesoamerican culture to map stars and movement.
Ptolemy was around 127 to 151 AD. He was one of the last great astronomers of antiquity. Invented terrestrial longitude and latitude, first of the Orient North and top and east at the right, created the model of the solar system.
Arabs and Muslims 700 to 1200 AD, detailed time sleeping, astronomical time sleeping was the most accurate way to determine when to pray.
Copernicus lived at 1473 to 1543. He established his own model of the celestial beings called the heliocentric model. He also wrote a 40-page document about his heliocentric model.
To 1601. Major portion of his observations were done at Oranienburg. He designed and built new devices and did nightly observations with them. He observed new stars at Cassiopeia.
Galileo, born in 1564 to 1642, constructed the first complete telescope. They discovered the 4 largest satellites of Jupiter, studied sunspots, Saturn's rings.
Kepler lived during 1571 and 1630. He discovered 3 laws of planetary motion, and he said that gravity is caused by 2 bodies instead of 1. He also designed his own telescope called the Kepler telescope.
Newton was around 1642 to 1727, established 3 laws of motion. He also created calculus. He took interest in mathematics, optics, physics, and astronomy.
Edmund Halley was born in 1756 to 1742, predicted the return of a comet, published a synopsis of the astronomy of comets, used a solar parallax to find the distance of Earth from the Sun.
Albert Einstein lived during 1875 to 1955. He proposed a special theory of relativity, which he extended to the general theory of relativity, which included gravity.
Niels Bohr was around 1877 to 1962. He established his own model of the atom called the Bohr atomic model, studying with the man who discovered the atom.
Wolfgang Pauli worked on spin theory and quantum theory, received a Nobel Peace Prize for the discovery of the Pauli principle, awarded the Max Planck Medal for achievements in theoretical physics.
Heisenberg lived during 1901 to 1976. He developed new theories in quantum mechanics about the behavior of electrons. He also developed the uncertainty principle, which explains the impossibility of knowing where exactly something is and how fast it is moving.
Edwin Hubble was around 1889 to 1953. He is an American astronomer that helped complete the Hooker telescope, and he also proved that other galaxies existed outside the Milky Way.
George Lamare proposed his Big Bang theory, which explained the reason of galaxies. Other scientists came to accept the Big Bang theory.
Oppenheimer lived from 1904 to 1967. He did groundbreaking work on neutron stars and black holes, and he also helped develop the first atomic bombs used in World War II.
Fred Hoyle worked on the entropic principle. He theorized that other rare elements could be caused by supernovas and published The Black Cloud in 1957.
Penzias and Wilson discovered cosmic microwave radiation, proposed the radiation from the Big Bang was all over the universe.
Armstrong and Aldrin first set foot on the moon on July 20th, 1969. It took about 2 hours to explore the moon, collecting samples and taking photographs. They also left behind an American flag and a patch honoring the fallen Apollo 1 crew.